Okay, we trying this one more time. I'm coming back. It is Friday night, and we're going to get into the show right away. And tonight, I'm talking about, if you will, part two of the deep work discussion that I started a couple weeks ago. Actually, November 14th with a Tech Troublemaker, and uh, the the premise of tonight is really about the work that matters most to you. It is the work that you protect the hardest. And I'm going to show you how I go about protecting roughly 2 hours in my workday, but you can translate this 2 hours in your workday to um, any time in your life. So I'm going to pause right now. I'm not going to stop live streaming, but you won't hear me talking for a minute. I'm trying to handle something on the back end, and I'm going to try to do this expeditiously. I'm troubleshooting, y'all. Troubleshooting. Give me a minute. Oh, I see what the issue is. Okay, I think we're good now. I'm going to proceed with the show. This is a little different because we're having all kind of technical challenges today, but it just proves that I'm real, that I'm out here, that I'm not an avatar. I'm not AI. Uh, I'm not. I am um, gonna go through the content anyway. So let's just say tonight we're talking about part two, if you will, of deep work. And it's really what I want to talk about is protecting the work that's most important to you because the work that matters most to you is the work that you protect the hardest. Now, I'm going to share an example from work in the sense of people think of work as a job or business. However, the principles that I'm sharing apply exactly the same way in your private life or in your volunteer life or in your ministry life. So try to separate the way you're thinking about what you're seeing tonight from it's related to my job or my business to it's related to my whole life. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to show you how I go about protecting roughly 2 hours a day in my day. A couple of shows ago, actually back on November 14th, Check Troublemaker and I gave you an overview of deep work based on the book by Cal Newport and what it means and a little bit about how we implemented it. And today I want to go a little bit deeper. And the thing to know is that this idea, these two words, deep work, they sound mysterious and highbrow, but they're really very simple and they're very practical. They do require a little bit of preparation and being intentional. One of the things I ask often is, what does that look like? So today I want to answer the question, how do you get intentional with this practice? And what does intentional look like for you to protect this couple of hours a day? Remember, protecting the couple of hours a day can be in any part of your life. You have 1,440 minutes a day. This is protecting 120 of those minutes. They can be consecutive, they don't have to be. In fact, the way I do this, I don't make them consecutive. I do an hour and then at one part of the day, and I do an hour at another part of the day. So I'm going to say, welcome to Purpose and Productivity, where I share with you real world solutions to fix the friction in your productivity setup, in your processes, in your practices. And I am so excited to have you here with me today. And it's going to be a very interesting session. So I see a few people out there with me, and I'm going to greet you now. And uh, say hello. Hello, Yolanda. I see you out there. Hello, Frank. I see you out there. And I think there's someone else watching, but if you say hello, I will greet you. And Yolanda, I know you have a show tonight, so I'm gonna make sure I get done so that you can get to your show and I can come watch you. It's been a little bit different today, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to drop a link in chat to the show that was back on November 14th. So you can go back and watch that show to get some of the details. But what I want to share with you first is a few definitions so that I set the stage for what I'm going to show you tonight, and it'll make sense when when I show it to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to the computer. And the thing that I want to talk about first, hey Lisa Maria, glad to have you in the building. So glad to have you here with us. It's I want to talk about these methods of deep work because we went over them in understanding these, and I'll share which one I'm going to I use most and the reasons I use it, and it's in the definition. So there are four methods that are outlined in the book. One is the rhythmic method. The rhythmic method. These are the deep work methods that are covered in the book. So again, the rhythmic method. This is where turn you set up regular repeating focus time in your calendar. It's the same day, same time every day, the same day every week. So you put it in your calendar and you set it aside. But there's more to it than putting it in your calendar, because you can put it in your calendar and still not follow it. Let me just say, I'm going to talk about me. I'm guilty of that. When I first started this practice, I would put it in my calendar and it would be there, but I would still not actually apply what I set out to do. And I would allow other people to interrupt the time. But rhythmic is where it creates a chain of consistency. It creates your ability to be consistent, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. In my case, you'll see, I'll talk about, I schedule 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, and then the workday. Every day, Monday through Friday, an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. And during that time, there are some things that I do. I'll share those later to help me keep this consistency. The other thing that this does, by setting it up this way, by putting these times in your calendar and following this practice, it reduces decision fatigue. Meaning, You have made the decision and now you're executing the decision. So you don't have to think about when am I going to be doing this focus work? When am I going to work on this task? Because you've already made the decision and you've set your place up, your work up so that you can get to execution and not be stuck in getting ready to get ready or fitting to or I'm going to or one day, all of those go away. So rhythmic is the choice, is one choice. The rhythmic method is one of these methods, and it's where you again set up specific times every day, every week to do this focus work. The second one is bimodal. There are lots of ways to think about this. There you can set up um you're dividing your time. I for me, this is where time blocking, not time boxing, time blocking comes in, and it can sound like rhythmic. So that's why I'm being very intentional here. This is you're kind of theming sections of your day. You're theming sections, parts of your week. Monday is admin day. Tuesday is laundry day. Wednesday is grocery day. Thursday is writing day. Friday is singing day. Whatever. That's you can do it that way, but you're setting up larger blocks of time and they're you set a rhythm for yourself. Um you again you can theme your days and your weeks according to his book. You want days, you can do partial days, a half of the day. Every the morning of Monday is this, the afternoon of Thursday is that. Um, so that's bimodal. The next one is journalistic. Now, this one is where you take advantage of small blocks of time that open up in your calendar to be focused. From my perspective, this one takes the most discipline and it's the hardest to implement. And the reason is you're going to see later when I get to the next step about being prepared to do this, but it also requires you to be making decisions on short notice because it's where you're taking advantage of blocks of time that just kind of open up in your calendar. This to me, for me, is really difficult. Now, it's not that I don't do work when blocks of time open up. The difference is that I am intentional about when I plan to do very specific work, and when other areas open up, I do things that don't require me to think a lot. I don't have to do very much preparation for them. I can just go and execute. So that's journalistic. The last one is monastic. This one is, I think, for the majority of us. This is my opinion. You can think differently. But for the majority of us, this is the least practical approach because it says, I'm going to take weeks and months to go off, separate myself from the rest of humanity, the world, and just do this thing that I want to do. Some people may be able to do that. The people that I know aren't able to take weeks and months and go off. So, from my perspective, this last one, monastic, just put it out of your head and don't even think about it. So that means you're looking at either journalistic or bimodal or with rhythmic or a combination of them. So from a practical standpoint and from my um point of view and my experience, those are the three that are most practical for everyone that I work with and for myself. So we got some folks in the building saying all kinds of things. Let me jump in here and greet y'all and have some conversation with you. Let's see if I can do this correctly. And I'm going to start by saying hello, Miss Inanea. I see you greeting and one of our moderators. Hello, Frank. How are you doing? Hey, Yolanda B. How are you doing, ma'am? I saw Tora slide in here. I have to put I'll come back. What day is your singing day, Frank? Frank can answer that. I'm not even gonna try. Hey, Tora, how you doing? Glad to have you in the building. Here she come with the little red car. Glad to have you guys here with me today. And I just want to remind you, I did drop this link in chat. This is back to the um, video on deep work that Tech Troublemaker and I did back in November. So please feel free to check it out. So now that we've got definitions of these three methods, let's talk about preparation. And I shared that I use the rhythmic method almost exclusively because I've dialed in setting aside specific time. I have specific time set aside to do certain types of things and uh, different work modes that I'm in. So for me, I have set aside time specifically for ministry work. I have set aside time for volunteer work. I have set aside time for my home, my health, my life, doing laundry, cleaning the kitchen, all that stuff. I have set aside time for the channel and the community. So for me, this is how I function pretty much exclusively. Pretty I've gotten very dialed into this approach. But how do I go about it and make it not difficult and I don't have a lot of decisions to make? And that's what I'm going to dive into with you now. This is all about preparation. And I'll tell you, I taught this to some of my team members. Actually, at the time, they were people that reported to me. I've done it a few times, and it made such a difference. Number one, this is first and foremost before you assume you've got, the big assumption. You've decided what these recurring times are, these couple of hours a day that you're going to set aside, or an hour a day in 30-minute blocks, however you're going to do it. You make that decision first. Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, however it works for you. So you make that decision first. Now that you've made that decision, what you're going to do in those blocks of time is what becomes essential. This is where being intentional and preparation comes in. So you decide the project or the list of tasks that you're going to execute during this time. You've got a project you want to work on. I'll give you I'm going to show you an example of something that I did back in November and show you what it looks like. So you you look at your project list, your task list, whatever your planner, your app, your whiteboard, whatever you use, and make a decision in whatever area of your life it is, what you're going to do. But you don't start doing it. This you're doing before you get into that focus mode. Make a decision. Now, after you've decided what it is, and I'm going to use this example today to share with you. In my school community, I'm running what's called the Gift of Time. It's a 31-day challenge about time. And each day I drop a challenge question, and community members are invited to respond to the challenge question. And even if they don't, perhaps they're just journaling it or doing it on their own and they don't want to share it publicly. Fine, great. So I prepared for this a month ahead using this very method. So I decided my project was prepare for the gift of time, get 31 days of challenge prompts ready to go so that all I had to do was execute. So, how did I do that? How did I go about doing the preparation? I went about it by doing the things that you in by doing a few things. Hey, Mr. Massanutten, um, I informed colleagues, friends, family members that what I was doing. I said, "Hey, I'm working on this. I'm going to get it done." If you have people that you really need to dial in and get their buy-in, those conversations are essential to have, whether it's a spouse, a roommate, a child, someone you're the caretaker of, whoever. Even if it's your fur baby, some gotta have some conversations with fur babies. So inform, discuss, get a little bit of buy-in about what this is going to look like. If it's with your colleagues, even with your colleagues. Okay. David, I thought you were coming to the lounge. I texted you the link since you asked me where if it was open. Yes, of course it's open, so come on in. And then when you're ready to go, set a boundary that you're going to turn on do not disturb on your devices and set up those devices so that you're truly not disturbed. Caveat: if you are a caretaker or something serious that you absolutely need to um, be available at a moment's notice, take that into consideration. If you have something in your life, something going on where not being available for 1 hour would be detrimental, then take that into consideration. For the majority of us, v- the majority, I'm not saying all, the majority of us, we can stand a 1 hour we can handle 1 hour of not being connected. The majority of us, at some point, an hour we can handle. Okay. Then when you sit down to do your work, you're going to close all apps except the ones you need for the work section session if you're at your computer. I saw your question, Brian. I'll come back to it. So close all apps except the ones that you need for that work session. And before you start working, this kind of goes along, prepare your environment. If you need something to drink, coffee, tea, water, lemonade, get it. Get a big enough cup that you don't have to, you're not enticed to get up and run to the kitchen back and forth. If you need a snack, because you know you're gonna be like, oh, I'm bored and I just need to eat something. Get your snack. Get you a piece of fruit, some nuts, some vegetables, some carrots, something. Get your snack. This is all before you ever start doing what you're gonna do. Open the apps. Now, in my example, I'm going to show you what I did on the computer. This also works if you're doing something physical: laundry, cooking, cleaning, cutting your hair, whatever. It This process works even in those scenarios. Okay? Set out all the supplies you need first. everything that you will need: pen, paper, knives, cups, forks, bowls, broom, cleaning supply, whatever it is you need, get it set out. And this for me really came from the days when I was in school and we were taking cooking class. Before you started turning on the stove and doing all that stuff, the teacher had you take everything, all your ingredients, your bowls, your measuring cups, everything, and put it on a little tray and organize it in a certain order. So when you went to execute, you were just simply doing. You weren't looking for where's this spice and where's this bowl and where's this spoon and I don't have that. This is exactly the same. Those simple things, apps, pens, paper, glasses, meaning your eyeglasses, um, microphone, whatever, tablet, whatever you need to execute the project for the work session, pull that all together before you ever start. Sometimes that means you're going to have a little list that you check off. Okay. The last piece is use a timer. So if you're doing multiple times, you've got multiple um, blocks. Remember, I'm doing 2 hours a day. So I'm doing an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. That means in that hour, I'm going to work in two 25-minute blocks. I'm going to work 25 minutes. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to work 25 minutes. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. That's my first hour. The afternoon, I do the same thing. So if this is making sense, I'm going slow and intentional on purpose because sometimes we hear this stuff and we hear someone say, go do this, but how the person is addressing it and how they think about it is what they don't tell you. And if you don't understand why you would do it and how you would do it and how you think about it, you're not going to do it. I'm the same way. If I don't understand, I'm not gonna do it because I don't understand what I'm even looking at or how I'm even starting. So that's why I'm taking this time to go through this information ahead of time. Okay. So that's your mode. And I go so far as to build a little time chart sometimes. So let's do this. Let's say I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna put a little table in and I'm gonna say task time. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a little note over here and I'll show you why this becomes important. I'm going to come to it so you can see what I'm doing here in a second. So I'm making a little chart. So in this case, oh, I meant to do this. Okay. So y'all seeing my crazy brain where I have to do certain things. But it's all good. So this is my chart. I'm going to do a task. I'm going to create my snippets, and it's 31 of them. And I'm going to do this in my first block. My second block, I'm going to test snippets and refine. That's my second block. So this is my first hour. I'm going to do two things, just two things for this project. The first 25 minutes, I'm going to create my snippets and I'll show you what that means. The second, I'm going to test them and refine them, and I'll show you what that looks like and what it means. Why do I have this notes section over here? The notes section so that if I find what was called a problem or I missed something I needed, I'll make a note of it and I just keep going. This little chart, you can do it on a piece of paper. You can do it in a spreadsheet. You can put it in a Google Doc. You can put it in Notion. You can put it in anything. As long as you can make some blocks where you can write it down. Doesn't matter. Draw some boxes on a piece of paper, get to getting, as the saying goes. So this is my work block. This is 25 minutes here. And this is 25 minutes here. Now, if I want to, I could say 5-minute break. And if I was going to keep going, I could do another 5-minute break here. Right? So literally, I'm planning out before I ever start what I need. Now, if I want to get even more detailed, I can say I need TextExpander. Remember I said, so if you're just getting started, you can say I need TextExpander. I need my list of daily prompts because I'd done that in another work session. I'd already drafted them and stuff. I need my drafts app open. Okay. That's all I need for this. I don't need anything else. And I'm going to answer you here in a second, Brian. I got you. And I'm going to answer your other question. So before I go into the demonstration of how I did this and what it looked like, I'm going to come back and answer a couple of you all's questions. And if you put a Q colon in front of it, I will find it quickly. So Brian asked, hold on. Brian asked, what are we tackling tonight? The topic is how to protect 2 hours a day. And what I'm doing is I'm walking you through an example of how I apply deep work using Pomodoro. And I'm using a real live example of something that I did so that you could see what it looks like. And I'm literally walking you through my thinking and which method I'm using. That's the topic. And I'll share with you something else a little bit later because I don't want to get distracted. So that's the topic we're tackling. What day is your singing day, Frank? Frank sings every day. Not. Tora, that was your question. And David Hunt, I see you in the building. So if you want to come on camera, please let me know. Okay. So, Brian, you also asked about this little circle thing. I'm using a Mac app called Pro Mouse. You get it in the Apple App Store. It's one time like $3 or something. You buy it one time and you have it. And what it allows me to do is be able to point to things and make it easier to see when on the screen. That's so it's Pro Mouse so that this is easier for you to find if you're looking, especially because I use dark mode. And sometimes it's hard for people to say, like, where are you on the screen? And I can use my Pro Mouse to show people where I'm at. That's how I got it. So it's an app called Pro Mouse. And you get it in the App Store. Okay. So I've created my work plan. I'm going to do 2 tasks. I'm going to work in a 25-minute block. And then I'm going to take a break. Now, I'm not going to have y'all sit here for 25 minutes. I'm showing you how I would do this, how I would lay it out. If I needed something else, I would just put it right in here. I don't make this hard and complicated. I keep it very straightforward and simple. Okay? So the main thing for me was I needed this list of daily prompts that I had already prepared. And let me see. So, what I had done was I had written these out ahead of time and I had them in this spreadsheet. So this was what I needed, and I needed to have this spreadsheet open to start the process of what I wanted to do. So each day, a title, a prompt, and a question had already been done. So that's what this was. The so go back. Cute. Doo 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 doo. So going back to my work plan here, that's this list of daily prompts. It was a spreadsheet that I put the information in, and I worked on it a little bit here, a little bit there, and finally got it all together. So I'm creating snippets. This requires an application you may have heard me talk about called TextExpander. It is a an app that allows you to do exactly what it says. You type a couple of letters and it expands out whatever you put in the snippet. So I'm going to show you the crazy. Y'all pray for a sister. Pray for a sister. So this is my gift of time. I made a group called Gift of Time, and I literally went through in that and it didn't take me long. That 21-minute session, and I put it in each one of these. So I created 2 snippets, actually 32 snippets. One snippet is one that's run every time, and then each of the others is unique. So the snippet daily, and I hope you can see this. I have to remember how to David, help me. Uh I'm trying to I'm trying to I can't think of the word. It went out my head. So I literally took the type um zoom in. That's what I was trying to remember the keystrokes to zoom in. Wait a minute. Why is it not? Oh yeah, it's not working for TextExpander. This is kind of small, but I'll take one out, and what I'll do, there's always a way. Oh yeah, I forgot I had the zoom function in Pro Mouse. But that's okay. I'm gonna just do it this way. Because these are all literally gonna be the same. So I have a title. I have a title here. That's the title. I put a green dot, what's this thing called? An emoji. I put the day and the date. Now, I could have done this slightly differently than the way I did it. I figured it out after the fact. The day and the date. I ended it with another green dot, and I'll show you how this shows up in my community. And then the actual text of the challenge prompt for the day. Because remember, I had already written all this stuff. I didn't need to think about it, didn't need to do anything. So my work session is just creating these 31 snippets. I'm literally, and you would say, why would you do this? I'll tell you why. Copying and pasting. And because I had already laid out, actually, I made a change after I did it, what I wanted it to look like, I really only needed to copy the content into each snippet. And I made this bigger so you could see what one looks like. So in here is literally what you just saw. Where the green, the orange tabs or letters are, These are keystrokes that TextExpander is going to execute when I run the snippet. So it's going to run a snippet called Daily TX. I'll show you that. It's going to enter the title. It's going to hit the tab key. It's going to put in the dot, the day, the date, the dot. It's going to hit the enter key twice. It's going to enter the prompt. It's going to hit the enter key twice. It's going to put another emoji in, and it's going to put the text in. It does all of that in like seconds. It was worth it to me. This is one of these get the work done ahead of time instead of having to think about it on the day of. I did that 31 times because all I had to do once I wrote them out and was committed to this is what they're going to be, put them in here. Now, this daily X, this is all in this first works period, was I wanted one thing that said gift of time, challenge day, and it asked me what day is it? Is it day 1, day 15, day 20, day whatever? That's the first part of the snippet. It runs every time. I wrote the snippet one time, and I refer back to that snippet over here at the beginning where it says snippet daily X. What I realized later is because I could do date math with TextExpander, I could have had TextExpander just do the date math and put the date in. I didn't do it that way. It's okay. So I made in 25 minutes, because all I was doing was transferring what I'd already done over a period of time. I made these 31 snippets. Now, for the content creators in the building, this solved multiple challenges. I'll show you how fast it is for me now to execute these every day. But the other thing it did, based on my interaction within my community, it gives me an opportunity to know where and how I can help the members of the community because they're telling me. I'm not guessing where they need help, where I can offer services to them, where I can answer a question. They're telling me in their responses. And I'm being just as transparent with them. Today, on the one today, I just said, I got to think about this because I actually don't really have an answer. I was just flat out transparent with them. I don't have an answer. So the way this works, so I did that in 25 minutes. So, couple of questions. Let's get to them. Let's get to the questions because I want you all to have answers. David asked, is TextExpander part of Setapp or is there a Setapp equivalent? TextExpander is not part of Setapp. There are other apps that are the equivalent. And if David, if you get my TextExpander guide off of the website, the free download, I list in that guide a plethora of very similar apps. What platforms they work on, if they work on Windows, if they work on Mac, if they work on both, if they work on mobile, if how much they cost or if they're free. Because there are a number of them. My initial use of this type of software, text expansion software, was using a product called ActiveWords. ActiveWords is a fabulous product. The founder of ActiveWords has agreed to come on the show. The reason I no longer use it is because I don't use a Windows computer, and it's a Windows only product. But that product, whew, it is so good. It is so good. So this one here is TextExpander. They work somewhat similarly. There are things that I know how to do in ActiveWords even to this day that I haven't figured out how to do in TextExpander. So just so you know. But just so you guys know, this is not the only thing in here. I've got loads of groups of expansion in here, loads of them. So things that are in here, I don't retype this stuff. I use a couple codes. That's it. So this is number one. Now, what does this look like? Let me see. Let me show you. Let me show you. So here's my community. And I'm going to switch. And here's today's gift of time daily challenge, interrupt the habit loop. Friday, you see the green apples or the green dots? Friday, December 5th. Next sentence, another emoji, prompt question. Now, that all was put in, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And I'm not gonna save this because I don't want to confuse everybody. So if I go up here, I put my cursor in, I say GFT 6. It says, what day is it? Day number 6. And I hit post. I'm done. I'm done for the day. If I usually wait until somebody else in the community, because this is really for my members. It's me serving them. It's not about me. And I will go in and make sure I respond to them when I do my response time later on in the day. That's the beauty. Did I set myself up for success? Yes. I have 31 prompts ready to go for the entire month. The most work is what you saw me do. I typed 4 letters and clicked a button. Done. So that's where that time that I set aside, that first 25-minute block, this first 20, create these 31 snippets. What it allows me to do is execute every day something that I said I wanted to do. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about where the text is. I don't have to go look. I don't have to go copy and paste. I don't have to do anything. And because TextExpander works on my phone, on my tablet, on my computer, in a Chrome browser, doesn't matter what device I'm on. Doesn't matter what device I'm on. I can literally do it from any of my devices. I can make sure I'm ready, and that goes out to the community. Now, the second work period was testing the snippets. Test and refine the snippets. So I didn't do all 31. I actually did like 10. And I kind of cheated a little bit. And this is the IT brain in me. David, you'll relate to this. I didn't want to build out 31 and figure I had to change 31. So what I did was build a few, and then I did the testing. And the testing was going back here, when I ran that snippet, did this pop up? When I put the number in this box and hit the enter key, did the snippet put the information where I wanted it to go? Did it look the way I wanted it to look? That was my testing to make sure I got the result that I wanted. That was my second work period. I did ran a couple of tests, then I finished building the other 31, and then I was done. I have a month's worth of work finished. Hopefully, and you can tell me by coming, if you're in the lounge, David, if you want to come on camera, you can. I'll be glad to bring you on. This preparation, setting up those times, and knowing exactly what I wanted to achieve. And I had my tools available, ready to go. So I could run through it very quickly and execute and not spend a lot of time on it. Now, for the rest of the month of December, I'm just executing and serving my community. So, questions, comments? Dave. Okay, I won't do that to you. I won't do that to you, brother. I won't do that to you. All right. So let's see what y'all talking about in here. Thank you, Yolanda. I appreciate it. Hey, Lisa Maria, I did see you slide in here. I thought I saw you slide in here. So good to see you. So good to see you. Let's see. I'm looking for anybody else. Am I missing somebody else? Am I missing somebody else? I'm just double checking. Okay. This is, oh my goodness, Ryan, this is a long question. Okay, let me stop. I need to know how to get the, okay, I answered the red circle around the mouse arrow in eCam. No, it's okay. Ask your question. I did answer that, but that's Pro Mouse. Thank you, David, for saying you love the time breakdown. 25.5 is very doable. Yes, it is. I'm just looking for what you guys are saying. Okay. So David, you can go get the TextExpander handout off of the website, and I've got a complete list of alternatives in there. And just so you know, y'all, let's see if I can do this. You know, it's always dangerous when I be trying to do something at the last minute that I didn't prepare for. But let me see if I can. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. All right. So I'm about to blow your mind, David Hunt. Let me see. So if you go into your Mac, David, this also is true on your phone and your tablet. Go to keyboard, go to text replacements. You can build a simpler version of text expansion right in your Mac. Now, you can't do the date math and some of the more advanced features, but if you just got straight text that you want to have expand out, as you see, I have some in here. And I need to, because I got all kind of stuff in here that I don't want all over the internet. But you can put some right in here, David, just in case you didn't know that. Did you know that? If you guys knew that, let me know. Somebody say yes or no in the chat. Okay. All right. So thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. Yes, you can do again. If you just got straight text, use what's built in. It's when you want to start doing some of the more complex. You want to do nested snippets, you want to do date math, you want to do fill-ins, you want to do pop-ups, you want to do multiple choice items. Those types of functions are ones that require you to have uh, a text expansion fully blown, fleshed out app like TextExpander or ActiveWords or any of the others that do the more complex, but just simple. I want to expand text out. You can do that at least in the Mac world on all of your devices. Okay. Thank you for saying you love the signature. I appreciate it. So that's how I would go about breaking down a deep work session, or you could call it a focus session or whatever you want to call it. That's how I break it down, and I'm prepared to just simply execute. My supposition is that sometimes when people say they don't have they can't concentrate, they constantly are getting interrupted. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it's because the person doesn't set themselves up to be successful in those periods of time. What they do is they say, okay, I'm going to block this hour and I'm going to work for an hour. And then they go sit down, but they haven't prepared to do the work. And so they spend 45 minutes getting ready to do the work that they wanted to get done in that hour. And now they've got 15 minutes left and they get nothing done. Again, I go back to spend a little bit of time setting yourself up to execute, starting with scheduling the time ahead of time in your calendar for those sessions so you know when those sessions are. Cheat code. One of those sessions may be your prep time for the next piece that you need to execute. Like literally, my creating, writing, organizing those prompts in the order that I wanted them in, putting them in that spreadsheet were a series of deep work sessions. I didn't do it all at one time. I did a few, I did another few. I looked at them. I said, I don't like this one here. I want this one here, and moved them around till I got them in the order that I wanted them to be in. And then I knew the next step was build my snippets because then I could just execute. Questions, put your Q colon in the comments and ask your question. And if you're interested in coming to the community, I just dropped in chat how you can get to the community, join the community over there, and you can have a party with us. And there are a couple goodies in the community for those who are part of the community already. There are a couple of goodies in there. I dropped some stuff in yesterday that some of you probably didn't even notice, but I would just say, go look. I talked about some surprises. They're starting to drop. They're starting to be released in the community for the members. So, all right. I am going to. Hey, Harshid, how are you doing? So glad to see you in the building. S- Look, I can't hit the right thing. Hey, Harshid, nice to see you. Glad to see you drop through. I know we got lots going on over in OHG these days. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions in chat at this time. Again, encourage you to look at these four types, decide which one works for you, and then use that very simple process that I showed you. You saw I put it together in no time. Make a little grid, write down what you're going to do. If you notice something, write it over on the side so you can correct it later or address it later, and just plow through your work. Spend that hour, that 2 hours, and literally 2 hours a day, you'd be amazed how much you can get accomplished. And it doesn't matter what part of your life this is in, any area of your life, what I just shared with you will work if you work it. So That's it, y'all. I'm excited to have you. I appreciate you guys coming through this evening and sharing with me and being patient through all the technical things that occurred. Just sometimes tech be teching. All right. I'm going to say good night because I want to go catch Yolanda, and I will see you guys in the next live stream or the next video or in the next post somewhere in these internet streets. Good night, everybody.